Hey, everybody. Welcome to No Bull Logistics. It is the stench-free zone. I am Michael Vincent, and this is my very good friend, Sherman Barnes. I've known him for, close to 7 years, and a really great guy. We're here to talk a little bit. How you doing today, Sherman?
I'm doing great. Doing great. It's pretty sunny out here in Dallas, Texas today. We're going to get up to 80 degrees. So I think I'm going to
What?
I'm going to throw some meat on the grill later on, man. I got some wings and some stuff I'm going to make for the kids. So I'm pretty excited about that.
So do you just straight up grill your wings, or you smoke them, or what do you do?
Oh, so I'm from Mississippi. We only use charcoal and wood. So I not only do I smoke them, I make sure I've got certain spices and seasonings and whatnot that I put on them. So yeah, I want to get a gas grill, but I just haven't been able to make myself do it, brother. Yeah,
don't do that. I won't even use one of those automated pellet grills. I won't use that either. Mine's just a 55. Mine's a 55-gallon drum cut in half with an offset smoker and some valves. That's as technical as I get because it's an art.
I heard that they have like hybrid grills, so I don't know, but I'm just old school. And even though it does take a little bit of time to use charcoal and wood, that smoke and getting the smoke ring in the meat, man, it's just it's nothing like it.
I'll tell you a secret. It's my excuse as to why I have to stay home all day on a Saturday and watch football and not go shopping.
I like the way you started whispering when you said that.
you never know who's listening. Hey, let's talk about something. We got together. We've been talking about this because you see it a little bit. What's going on is hiring practices, right? Hiring practices are tricky. Your growth in your company are tricky. You can hire yourself and grow yourself right out of business. There's all kinds of different things that are happening, and nothing, just like the pandemic has caused technology to grow exponentially and things to advance really quickly, it's really kind of exposed this type of stuff. Dooner and I, in my former life, would talk about the fact that we saw people during the Great Resignation moving and upping their worth and getting paid, right? Going out and getting their pay. But then a lot of those people were back on the market after the pandemic as things started to crash down, right? And there's a lot of difficulties in growing safely for the business and for the person you're hiring, right?
Yep. 100%. I saw a lot of that as well. A lot of overhiring, I would say. To me, I almost equated, you got human capital, but then you got inventory as well. The way that a lot of large retailers bought too much inventory, so to speak, or we can say that some asset-based carriers bought too many containers or whatnot. And in the assumption that, this time is different, we're never going to have another downturn again. Sometimes I feel like, we have hubris and maybe we invest in human capital or over-invest in whatever it is that we may be in the expectation without making sure that we're thinking through strategically about, a long-term strategy and whether or not that makes sense or not in the long term.
Yeah, absolutely. And, this industry, I've been in it for 35 years, and it never ceases to amaze me that we forget that, winter is coming again, spring is coming again, and all this other kind of stuff. And even that, the economy did not double in size. It was an anomalous growth that happened, and to overinvest in certain things, I just think was foolhardy. And you saw some people really got bit by it. C.H. Robinson, one of them. They got hurt. But there's that other aspect of, I don't know if you want to call it morality or ethos or whatever it happens to be, but it's the responsibility of growth, right? That we owe. It's kind of along those ESG type of things, right? That social and governance type of thing is, how ethical is it to grab people away from other companies and bring them in during your exponential growth if it's not stable? Should there be kind of a speed limiter on that, or is that a smart thing to do?
Yeah, I personally, so I do agree with you. Although I know you can't promise people, a job, depending on what happens. But yes, I do think that we have a moral obligation to the people that work for us. They have families that they're supporting. They have the same dreams and goals and aspirations that, any man or woman would want for their family. And so I think it's, it's definitely an obligation that we have to those people. And so that's why thinking about whether or not we should be hiring this many people or whatnot, I just think it's something that's really important. And I feel like we overshot it in a lot of ways this time around.
Yeah, we really did. And I think it's something that happens to a lesser degree, even regardless or even without the pandemic or the recent times that we just went through. I think, it comes, people get excited, they start growing and start expanding like crazy. And certain things happen. Is there a way, and what is the service? I know you're into some different things. You're doing some kind of like, outsourcing and that type of stuff. What you're doing there, first of all, what are you doing there? And is this something that can be used to help grow a company? I guess let's call it sustainably, right?
Yep, in a more responsible way. So so with that, I'm co-founder of a company called Sales Hub 24/7. So we do offer offshore sales solutions, offshore back office BPO services, to be a little bit more technical. And what we're doing there, we're not taking away American jobs or doing anything like that. We're just there to supplement or accentuate whatever things that a company doesn't want to do, or that it may not be cost effective to do. Now, from a sustainability perspective, I think about things like in these countries, there are highly educated people that are highly skilled and driven, and that are looking for opportunities and love to work in America. Now, it won't be necessarily the same, salary or price points that they could get if they were an American citizen, but you got to keep in mind that where they're from, they're getting paid well above whatever a living wage may be there. And again, for me, they're able
you're
to
elevating their living situation.
Correct. Yeah. They have, because like I said a few minutes ago, they have families as well, and they want to have aspire to some of the same things that you have, to educate your children properly, to be in safe neighborhoods. And so we've been able to help those people purchase vehicles, move into new housing. I mean, it's really making an impact. So I know sometimes people talk about, hey, you're taking away American jobs. I don't typically think about it like that. I think about it like, there was an entrepreneur a long time ago that told me true entrepreneurship or true value creation is about taking people from a lower level of productivity to a higher level of productivity. And what he meant was that finding people that that the society doesn't know how to properly give opportunity to, and marrying them with said opportunity, and it creates value not only for them and for each other, but also for the world at large. And so that's how I always viewed it, with those opportunities that we're creating for those people.
Right. So how should companies look at this? Because I look at it as being useful in different ways. Is this only long-term type of growth type of stuff, or can it be seasonal flexing? And like I said before, can you flex up a certain number until you're sure that growth level is there, and then hire locally? Or maybe you don't even want to, because it just, the quality is there, right? Can you speak to that a little bit, how that kind of works?
Yeah, I will. So, what we do is typically we'll look at a company and see what, job descriptions or roles that they have. Some things you really can't outsource. So, for example, if depending on the business, one of our clients is a trucking company. If another one may be an energy company, if there are certain customer facing roles where you really do have to be here physically. But if it's something like, so one of the things that we're doing for a trucker client, as an example, is we're tracking the loads, tracing the loads, setting up pickup appointments, setting up delivery appointments. Those are things that you don't have to be domiciled like at that office or even within the U.S. in order to execute upon that. So we look at the roles and job descriptions with you to determine that. Now, the second question I think that you asked was about the scalability. That is the beauty of it. We can scale up with you or scale down. So you got to keep in mind, again, there's tons of talented people across the globe. I mean, we're focusing primarily in the Philippines and in India with the people that we're going after. But there's talent around the world that is, again, highly educated, highly driven, and they are looking for opportunities to provide value within the U.S. economy. Things that we take for granted, they do not. And I found that they are very skilled and very eager to do the work, and they do it in an excellent fashion. So when we take so let's say, just for example, some customers hire us for a season during a busy season. So it may be, during Q4 when they're ramping up, and then when that opportunity is over with, then we don't let go of the people that we've hired. We just allocate them to another industry. Since I'm not just focused in transportation or energy, like I'm focused in B2B, B2C, in various industries. I can take that resource that, when I mentioned about taking resources from a lower level of productivity to a higher, I'm just finding the right place to put them. And so just because you hire 10 people from me for Q4, once that project is over, we're always doing BD work, finding new customers. And so I can just slide them into another account, or maybe an existing account is having growth during a time when trucking may be slowing down. I move them over there. So it's really the ability to flex up and down is something that's definitely powerful. And it's been helpful to the clients and helpful to the workers as well, because again, man, I've seen people, being able to get, I've gotten a couple of cars for people, not like buying them a car, but they've made so much income that they've been able to buy a vehicle. They've been able to put some of their kids in private school, perhaps, or do different things that I've seen. And that's just the power of us living here in the U.S. and just living in an economic powerhouse in America. There's just so much opportunity. And there are people that value those opportunities.
Yeah, and there's the noble, stench-free information that I wanted to get to was right there. And I'm glad you brought up the fact that you're not just in logistics, right? Because I know you're not just in logistics. And there's the audience for this show and the other shows that this will be on are across the board. They're not just in logistics. That B2B, the B2C, the returns processing, all that kind of stuff can be outsourced and done. But that noble is really getting into the place where this isn't just about bottom line. It's about why are you going after it? Why would you flex up and hire and then knowing you're going to probably lay off again when you could be farming that out and really elevating the lives of other people around the world and bringing that level of security up in these other locations, which is really part of it and part of sustainability and part of responsibility that we all owe to each other as human beings, right?
Yeah, because if you think about it, even the work that you're doing, like, cleaning up the oceans and taking the plastic and whatnot and doing, like, waste doesn't exist in nature, in and of itself. Nature always finds a way to utilize whatever's been created. And so you're taking something from a lower level of productivity, taking it out of the oceans where it does not belong, and you're going to, put it in, reuse it. Reintegrate it into society in a more beneficial way that does not harm society, right? So I'm doing the same thing from a labor perspective as well. So to me, it's all the same thing. That sustainability piece is really important, and I'll tell you why. So my dad, I grew up in the shipping and receiving world. My dad worked as a shipping and receiving supervisor my whole life. And I often saw him, not often, but occasionally I saw him get laid off. And from my perspective, he was working his fingers to the bone to supply the needs of his family. And I'd watch him get laid off. And so I've been on the receiving, and I've also, just to be quite frank, I've been laid off before, like a division shutdown. And it's definitely something that's tough. I personally was a part of a company that grew up, scaled probably, too fast in expectation of the market continuing to go up. And I lost my job, and it was really something that's challenging. Again, I know people can't guarantee work. I do understand that they lost a customer, but it really hurt, and that's what really gave me a heart, for what I'm doing for the people and for the companies as well.
Yeah, that's excellent stuff. Thanks for sharing that, Sherman. I got caught up in the same thing once because of too fast growth and once because of actually 9/11.
Wow.
We could talk about that sometime. But yeah, there was a bunch of us that got caught up in that situation.
This was in 2009 for me. This was around that 2009, 2010 crash stuff.
Yeah, it was tough.
It was tough. It was tough.
Yeah, I was in a former business that went from 120 million a year to 70 million.
Wow.
Like that because of that housing bubble that just poof. So things are tough. But hey, this has been excellent, Sherman. This has been Noble Logistics, the stench-free zone with my good friend Sherman Barnes. Sherman, where are they going to find out more about what you guys are doing there?
So I'm very active on LinkedIn. So just look up Sherman Barnes the second on LinkedIn, or you can go to www.saleshub247.com to find out more information about what we can do for you.
Right on. Thanks, my brother. Peace and love.
All right. Take care.